Alright. I had Kelly come on yesterday. Kelly watched the video yesterday. She told me that I need to consolidate my points and be more structured in how I do this. And I actually appreciate it. I get what she's saying. It's sort of difficult in the live feed format. Especially when, either dealing with the goofy trolls or there's nothing, It's one thing when there's no feedback loop, But also at the same time, I guess, at the end of the day, this isn't supposed to be like a presentation. This is supposed to be a conversation, a back and forth, where, my goal is to be wrong. If I'm wrong, then I can learn from it. And, I'm always trying to learn and get better and stronger and all that shit. And it's interesting. And when there is no planned criteria, there's no layout, no plan for this, just kind of wing it. It does make it more difficult to come across as a well-oiled presentation. But again, it's not necessarily the point. But obviously it's affected me. It's something I've thought about. I take the constructive criticism seriously. It's his audience. The only reason we even know each other is because of this. Interestingly, it was her dude that started watching me. I don't know what he does anymore. I don't talk to him anymore. He doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. But she said that they were thinking about starting a podcast and all that. And I think they should. If you can figure out a way to get paid doing this kind of shit, you absolutely should. I believe I'm going in uncharted waters here. I'm not really following a lead, following a template that somebody else has laid out. Template. It sounded weird when I said it. We're in new frontiers here, and we're talking in ways that aren't done. Did you guys see the shit in Dearborn? Which is weird because I'm in Dearborn all the time, and I didn't see anything like it. But then again, the times that I'm in, maybe I don't know. I know that it's a bunch of racist white people, and they're doing the camera tricks are there, right? Hey, look, we have the dumb fryer here. So what you see, they do this all the time. So when there's not a lot of people there, when they want you to think there's more people than there actually is, the camera is always at this level, right? It's low. So you can only see the tops of heads, behind who you need to see, who they're focusing on, and you don't really have a grasp of just how many people are there. It seems like there's more. When there's a ton of people there, the cameras are up high so you can see all the people behind them. And you see this in this Dearborn shit. They're making it seem like hundreds of people came out to protest and yada, yada, yada. I didn't see hundreds. You know, look like maybe 50 fucking standard, fat, you know, dumb white guys. Christian, you know, same old dumb shit it always is. And I you know, it's weird because the blatant supremacy, racism that's everywhere makes me end up, you know, looking like I'm defending Muslims and Islam when I'm not. You know, I think Islam is disgusting. I think Islam is just as bad as Christianity. No, not just as bad. Christianity is a little bit worse. When at least the Muslims think Muslims are good, are the best. Christians are dumb enough to think that a completely different religion that hates them is their God's chosen people. So that's unbelievably dumb, right? But you know, average white guy. I mean, the issue is the same throughout. Whether it's that average white guy at the Dearborn protest or it's Ian Carroll. And I know that you would think those would be, you know, completely different things, but they're not. They're very similar. Oh, you are delusional. Am I? What part? Let's hear it. And I know dumb white guy thing is, or friar thing is to say stuff like that, but then never give any actual examples, details, explanation of. So the floor is yours, man. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Because I can affect how the recording comes across. I can affect my signal strength. Yep. Anything to avoid the actual topic, right? How much you want to bet this dumb white guy or friar doesn't say anything important, doesn't have anything even remotely interesting to say or, you know, intelligent whatsoever? It's just dumb shit. How much you want to bet? This is what you see every time. These are the guys that are protesting, and the Bible is the way. We don't want you in our country. You see this white guy saying that to the Arabs. We don't want you in our country. What part of the historical narrative, whether it's real or not, makes you think this is yours? Like, are you fucking serious? You can't be that stupid. But they are. I mean, I say they can't be. They are. Consistently, time and time again, situation after situation, you're like, wow, fucking white people are dumb. And they pretend to be so, you know, higher than thou, enlightened. Like, black people are dumb too, but black people don't walk around all uppity and, you know, this is my country and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's just so weird. It's so fucking weird. And it fits. Like, that's the stupidity it takes to be a Christian. You literally have to be stupid to be a Christian. Catholic, Christian, same thing. You have to be. You have to put down all of your common sense, all of your regular thought process, so you can believe Jewish fairy tale nonsense. Literally, that's what it is. And that's what you do. You put down your reasoning, you put down your intelligence, you put everything down and say, I have faith. And you know it's stupid because you think everybody else that does the exact same thing, but to a different sky daddy, you think they're stupid, but you don't think you're stupid. You burn it, the guy who climbs the window and he Look at this shit. Look at how dumb these friars are because they can't actually engage intelligently. And it's that arrogance, right? That they still think they need to say something. They think we need to hear what they're saying. They're friars and us goyim, we need their input. So they say something. It's just dumb as fuck because that's all they can bring. Time and time again. You know there's something not right when they can't defend it. They support some of the just most disgusting ideas, the pedophilia, the ritualistic sexual abuse. They support all these disgusting things. They know it's disgusting. They know the average person is not okay with it. So this is what they do. Just dumb shit. It's fucking shocking, man. It's shocking. Like I was talking about yesterday, the whole NPC thing. And just how many people are seemingly NPCs, just sort of, wind up their back and push them in the direction. Like it's crazy. It really is fucking crazy. And it's I don't know, it's kind of freaky a little bit, It's a little weird thinking like why am I different? How did I break free? Where did I get my free guy glasses? I for the life of me, I can't understand it. I still, even the what's said to be the reward, the when you die you go to heaven bullshit. Like even that, just I don't get how that works out for you. You don't, like, when you look at heaven and the criteria necessary to get in, you're not getting in. Why would you believe in something that is basically condemning you to hell? It's so strange. It's so strange. I have these like it's the same thing from the top to the bottom, from personal relationship bullshit to big picture shit. It's all the same, and like I'm dealing with this with one of my kids, right? One of my kids isn't getting the grades he should be getting, and his mom falls for it, right? His mom falls for what he says, but I don't, because I was there, because I was that kid. My wife was the top student in her class. Like, she was number 1 or number 2 in every class she was in. She was, and she didn't have the parents pushing her. It was self-motivated. She wanted to be the best student. She wanted the best grades, so she got them, right? And that didn't get passed on to my kids. My kids are much more like me than they are her. But she gets in, she's a parent, so she gets involved and obviously in the shit. But she falls for it. She falls for the lines and the I'm sorry and that kind of shit. Whereas I don't. You know, I know what you're doing, and there is no excuse like they're not. And if they are, if the team to target you, it's because you've earned that position. You have to put in just as much work to fix the situation as you did to ruin it. And you know, this is something I don't think like we're accepting out the reality of things just in general. You know, the world we live in, we've put a lot of effort into fucking it up. And it's going to take a lot of effort to fix it. What's the criteria for getting into heaven? There's a lot of shit. There's a lot. There is a lot. One of the things being don't have sex before you're married, which all of you do. All of you that can do. Don't have sex for reasons outside of procreation. Yep, you're guilty of that one too, aren't you? Look at this dumb. Listen to this dumb friar. It's good because you know you're good. Always. Who gives a fuck what you have to say? My favorite sandwich. Me in between your mom and your sister. Ooh. I don't know, man. I'm so sick of not being able to even watch like the truther videos anymore because they're all fucking Christians. And you're seeing this. It's not going to be a race war because a race war doesn't work. Black people only make 13% of the population. You know, the scary ones, the young black males, are only like 6%, 5%. So a race war has always been the stupidest fucking, it's just a stupid concept. It would be an absolute obliteration of the black people if a race war happened. Because white people are the ones that control fucking everything. Well, at least white people are have the illusion of control. Obviously, the friars really control everything. The Jays, the chosen. But, you know, the police, the military, the guns, the money, the vehicles, the military, all the way, like all of it. The fucking black people would just get obliterated. White people make up 69% of the U.S. population. Well, unless you take out the white people with Hispanic in their backgrounds who claim to be white people. It's just such a weird thing to say. Then it's only 55%, but it's still a tremendous percentage of the people. For black people and white people to have any sort of war would be just it'd just be a shit show. It would be a slaughter. Get down. What are you doing? Get down. Get down. Cats don't go on the counters. Thank you very much. With your nasty litter feet. Litter feet, litter feet. GMO cookies. I just mooned my kid. Why? Because he's lucky. We're just so easily manipulated. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it starts with school. It starts at home, but a big contributor is school, and it's just crazy. You know, you're encouraged to, like, school doesn't teach you to think. Some classes do, but for the most part, it's it's regurgitation. I remember asking my teacher one time how, because we were learning about Civil War bullshit, and you know, it's like, this is a stopwatch, and then here we have a letter from a soldier who was killed on the battlefield, and so he's shot, he's mortally wounded, the war is going on around him. They all kept a little pencil and piece of paper on them, so as he's dying, he can write out, you know. And of course, all of them speak in Shakespearean, you know, eloquence. They're my dearest beloved, I am forlorn to inform you that I have been mortally wounded in defense of this, you know, great Southern Confederacy. The only thing better than that is your shining, beautiful face, of which I shall never see the morning sun rise and highlight the beautiful and then it scribbles out. School teaches what to think, not how to think. There you go. It's not 100%, but yes, for the most part. And so, to me, the whole concept is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I asked my teacher, how the hell did we get a note from this dead guy? You know, how did this happen? And he told me that at nighttime, they had a truce. And that they would clear the battlefields at nighttime. So at nighttime, the Confederates on one side, the Union on the other, they would go out in the battlefield and be like, oh, I almost shot you today. We'll get you tomorrow. Here, let me just clean this. Let me get this. And somehow at nighttime, of which they didn't have lights, so they had to use either, you know, torches or moonlight. They would go, like, my favorite bullshit narrative is the Gettysburg, because it's just so preposterous. You know, they say around 30,000 troops died over a 3-day period. Now, when I grew up, I always thought Gettysburg, like, I didn't associate Gettysburg with Pennsylvania. Did you guys realize that Gettysburg was in Pennsylvania? That it was basically in the north? But what they say is that, you know, a couple of 100,000 troops congregated on each side. Now, think about that. You have to think about all of these southern troops, Alabama, you know, Georgia, Florida, whatever. All these different troops had to fucking march their asses from wherever they were to Pennsylvania, where, of course, this is the 1850s, 1860s. So I can't imagine that the road system was really great back then. But they all marched and marched and marched till they got to Gettysburg, where they then, after all that marching, and you have to think about it, like, you're talking about, I think there's 100,000 on the south and a little bit more on the north. I don't remember, but how'd they eat? Who was feeding all of these people? The Gettysburg regime, the battalion, the whatever it was. You think they had foodstuffs there to be able to accommodate for 100,000 plus more people than they already had? But anyway, they all walk on up to Gettysburg. And then they have their battle. The first day of battle being the bloodiest, with as many as 20,000 plus troops being killed in that first day of fighting. So then you have the marching there, then the day's worth of battle. Then at nighttime, they don't rest. They go and clear the 20,000 dead bodies from the battlefield. I mean, you can't even fathom the labor that would entail. Just how much work it would take to remove 20,000 dead bodies. All bloody, bits and pieces. Some just shot, but some blown to bits, heads all hanging off and shit. Now, granted, we were a lot smaller then, because if you look at all the uniforms that exist from the Civil War, they look like you know, like gay guys, little frail gay guys in a play wore them. Little children wore them. There's never a uniform that fits someone like me. Now I'm not gigantic or anything. I'm a little bigger than average. But, you know, these outfits fit like 5'6". You know, you 5'8" maybe. And again, these are things you're never supposed to ask. Like, where did all the uniforms come from? Who was sewing all the uniforms for all those different Confederate soldiers? Where'd they get all their guns and ammunition from? The South had weapons manufacturing facilities to the point where they could arm hundreds of thousands of people with multiple, you know, with extra clips and all this other shit. Where did they get that stuff from? Where did they get all those Southern uniforms made of wool, marching in the summer in the Southern heat? The Gettysburg battle was in the summer, I believe. It's either the summer or the early fall, one of the two. But it's August, I believe. So it's literally, what's up? What's up, baby girl? What's up? What you doing? It was hot as fuck. Pennsylvania in August is hot as fuck. What is wrong with you? What's going on? What's up, baby girl? What? What are you doing? Are you in lovey mode? Yes. Hi. Hi, baby girl. Hi. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. You're just the cutest ever. Seriously, you've never seen anything cuter than Eek. Cutest cat ever made, ever created. Way cuter than Turtle. Eek. Mass imports with machines. More machines for women. Sure they did. Maybe they just pillaged farms along the way. Yeah, maybe. That'd be a lot of pillaging. And that could only last for so long. You know? Like, what you end up doing in these kinds of situations is you try filling in the holes, right? You use your modern 2025 brain to fill in the holes. Maybe they just pillaged farms along the way. Yeah, hundreds of thousands of people, it's just not possible. This is, and this this little caveat, this little piece of the puzzle can be applied to everywhere. You look at the Napoleonic Wars, and he's said to be traveling around with 300,000 plus people. How? I'd love to know how. I'd love to know the food regiment for that. How many animals had to be killed every day? How many the hunters would go out and kill the animal? They kill a deer or 16? And then the giant moving kitchen that they had. I mean, you're talking about men marching with lots of gear and shit on in the heat. They need extra fuel. You can't just get by on a bowl of oatmeal. So 20,000 are killed the first night. Days worth of march, days worth of battle. Nighttime, you clear the bodies. I just feeding the full horse and all, but still, dead weight is so much heavier. Like, you could pick your buddy up that weighs 150 pounds. If your buddy's laying on the floor dead weight, good luck picking his ass up. And these guys are removing 20,000 bodies from the battlefield. Well, where did they put them? Did they just stack them up? How many chuck wagons for 100,000 men? Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's literally just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
What about all the clothes that they were all...
We were already talking about that, yeah. Where'd they get all the uniforms, exactly?
No. I mean, what'd they do with them when they all died? Like, they don't decompose at the same rate that flesh does. So if you buried it in a hole, like, why are...
No, they took everything. Supposedly, they would...
They took their pants and their underwear and their socks.
Did they bury them naked? That's a good point. Did they bury them naked, or did they bury them with honor in their uniform and blah, blah, blah?
And if they did, how come uniform pieces aren't coming up through the earth in different areas? The shit does not decompose that fast.
Well, with the Gettysburg thing, so you have 20,000 the first day, clear the bodies at night. Then the next day of fighting, you have 8,000 some bodies that are killed. Then they clear the battlefield at night. Then the following day,
soup coats. Who carried those to the next battle?
Then the next day you had the 2,000 or so, the rest of the Confederacy, and then they gave up. So now you have 30,000 dead bodies in Pennsylvania in August, and you have to do something with them. I just think the average person has no concept of what 30,000 dead bodies looks like. It's a huge mountain of dead bodies. Like
30,000 uniforms. Like, if you didn't take it with them, you took it. Right. 30,000 uniforms would fill up this room.
Oh, easily. So the narrative is that they buried each one of those people in an individual grave about a foot deep, and then a year later came back and exhumed all the bodies and moved them to Arlington or some other military cemetery.
30,000. You know how long it would take to dig 30,000 holes?
Imagine what it would smell like. You can't. You can't.
The whole area would be filled with flies and like.
Oh, it would be insane. And back then you would have not in Pennsylvania, but you would have all sorts of animals that would be drawn to it. And if you buried them a foot deep, wolves and bears and shit would absolutely pull them out.
Yep. Dig them up.
But then think about that. Whose job was it a year later to come back and exhume all those fucking bodies that have been buried and then move them? We're still talking about the 1860s here, 1866, 1867. What transportation amenities did they have back then to accommodate? You know, it's not like they had refrigeration carts. So how are they then moving all these dead bodies? And the thing is, what?
They put the bodies in the train cars and had the donkeys pull them.
Right, over the mountains. And then, you know, Gettysburg is just one. You know, there are many Gettysburg-esque stories in the narrative. So then what? I mean, it's ridiculous when you think about it. You know, it's one thing when you haven't thought about it and you just go along with the show, and you know, I try not to make too many waves. I just do what I'm told. Blah blah blah. That's one thing. But when you're a reasonably intelligent human being and you're presented with this information, doesn't it make you sort of stop and think for just a second? Like, wait a minute, this don't make no sense. You know, so many of these stories, this is where it's just like it gets real frustrating. Because, you know, everybody, Ian Carroll's and Nick Fuentes's and all that, all these guys come from the perspective that history is correct. That we weren't lied to. I mean, we were, but only in the areas that you want us to have been lied to. Like, there are plenty of people that will say, you know, they don't believe this element of history, that element of history. You know, obviously this is all part of the Friar conspiracy, blah, 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 blah. People will say all the right things. And then you go, yeah, well, you know, same thing with George Washington, right? And they're like, oh, no, I believe in George Washington. Why? Did you meet George? Did you know George? You say, oh, well, why would they lie? How could they lie? Too many people are in on it. Blah, 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 blah. They lie to control things. I mean, it's all control. It's either they probably didn't exist, or they did and they were drunk and high all the time because they were scared of the water, because they didn't know how, you know, the water made people sick. So they drank mead and beer all the time instead. Our forefathers would have been hammered. Hey, 60,000 people to move them, so there are still 10,000. What kind of fucking... I mean, just the dumbassery, I swear. Somebody says, so like you a drink and a stoner? So like you a drink and a stoner. No commas, no nothing, huh? Yeah, that's what it must be. They're smarty pants. Because you guys absolutely see drinking alcohol all the time. I'm such a big alcohol alcohol fan. This is actually alcohol. I just go through all the motions to trick people into thinking it's tea. Or do I do I pour alcohol into my tea? Which one is it? It's weird because it's like you so many people are worried about alienating their audience or turning off their audience. George Washington. Now you don't believe in George Washington.
He had wooden teeth,
Yeah, wooden teeth for George Washington.
Wooden teeth to his mouth. I'm not sure, but he had wooden teeth.
That's what they say. Is that still true? Let's see. I know that's a rumor I grew up hearing.
How did he chew through anything like wet? Like wood gets soggy when it gets wet.
Shush.
Your mouth is wet.
Did George Washington have wooden teeth?
Yeah, what does AI say about that?
No, George Washington did not have wooden teeth. It is a persistent myth. His dentures were made from a variety of materials, including ivory, human teeth, animal teeth, gold wire, and lead, which may have given them a stained wooden appearance over time.
Okay, then. That's crazy. We were told.
So all the teachers were lying. Teachers were lying.
And they were not removable teeth, so they weren't technically dentures. Like they said, no, they were in his mouth.
Yeah, no, I always heard it was wooden teeth.
That shit's crazy. So where did those teachers get that from, and why did...
Because they had a wooden appearance, remember? They had a wooden appearance to them due to staining.
I never read.
If you can see the Mackenzie commenter on here, just know that that's actually a pedophile, like a proven pedophile.
That's insane.
If anybody wants to figure out who they are or whatever, you should. You should pay them a visit. Dumbass admits to sucking my nuts for 10 plus years. Oh, now they retracted their comment so you can't see them. Cowardly.
Is that Rainbow Bright?
It's Mackenzie.
Oh.
It's
my new name for bitch beard. Rainbow Bright.
Rainbow Bright. He'll be here, don't worry.
Rainbow beard.
He's such a fucking coward. He's such a fucking coward.
And Rainbow Bright was fucking creepy as fuck. I always felt like that was a pedophile's tool. I don't know if you remember Rainbow Bright.
Oh, yeah. It's about selling toys. A lot of that shit was about, they were half-hour toy commercials. But if anybody's wondering, the guy called James Napier, who goes by Bitch Beard, he's a pedophile as well. And at this point, obviously I don't have like pictures or anything like that, but they would have to prove substantially that they weren't for me to even entertain the idea. I mean, the reality is, I'm left to my own devices here. It's not like these people explain what their motivations are, why they're here, what would motivate somebody to stalk someone for 10 plus years. So it leads me to try to figure it out, just like I do with everything else. And when I look at the feed that I present, when I look at what I give to you, my overwhelming main goal, talked about every single time, is that we need to kill pedophiles and overthrow the friar control scheme that controls the entire narrative. Money, power, government, all of it. The you-know-whos, the 4x2s. The friars who control things. We need to overthrow that. So when I say these things and I stand proudly in these ideas, and I'm attacked, I mean, what am I supposed to think? What would any of you think? If they won't tell you why they're here, but they watch you every day, but want you to stop. Like, it's just such a weird thing. But I think it really just does come down to, like, you're not as dumb as the system makes you out to be. You are smart. You are a great barometer for truth. You know when you're hearing truth and when you're not. You know when it's too good to be true kind of truth. You know these things. You've just been trained to believe that even though you can deduce this shit for yourself, you need to be told what to think. But that's, what would you think? Why would anyone obsess over anyone else? It's just weird. How many times have any of you real people made a fake profile so you can watch somebody that's blocked you? Just doesn't that sound fucking weird? Like, it's, think about it in real life. Like, that's, you put on a Mrs. Doubtfire costume so you can keep an eye on your family or whatever. Like, I mean, at least with that, you have, like, connection to it. It's your kids. It's actually more like you put on a disguise so you can come watch me. I don't even, like, it's so hard to put it into reality, to associate it with something else. They are making fake profiles so they can watch me. Who the fuck is going to do that? I can't be that interesting, especially when the reason why you're getting blocked is because you're, saying some pedo shit and I got rid of you. Like, it's such a strange, when you think about just how many other people are live right fucking now. How many other people are live talking about any other fucking things? Even talking about conspiracy, just not from this angle. How many videos you can go watch about a lot of this shit? Might not be live, but you can still watch it. How many other options people have in this world that they could be doing, and instead they're here for negative reasons? That is just, that to me is huge. Like, that's such a, we live in this Facebook time and this YouTube time where people don't give things too much thought. You're just so used to it that you don't think about it. But to seriously step back and think about it, like, wow. For anyone to obsess over anyone else when you have so many options, but to obsess over someone who rejects you, that's fucking strange. You're the guy that likes the girl, but she doesn't like you, so you think, well, I just need to make her a mixtape. I just need to, follow her to work and put flowers and notes and shit on her car, and that's going to make her fall for me. If she just hears this list of songs that I sneakily snuck into her car or into her her possession, if she just listens to this group of 10 songs, that's going to change her mind. She's going to like me now.
That happened to me.
I know.
And that shit was creepy. I didn't even listen to all his songs. Creepy as fuck. You broke into my car while I'm at my job. Leave a CD in my car and say, please listen to it. Trying to get me back. No, that makes you psychotic.
I mean, even that's a different level of psycho. Because at least he's trying to get you back. There's the people that don't even have the relationship with the person. And you obsess over them that you don't even, like all of you that obsess over me, you don't even know me. You know the guy that's live. You know, and granted, this is pretty much who I am. Which is why I go back to my original point that this isn't like a presentation, it's more of a conversation. But you just have no idea. As soon as I get off of here, your connection to me stops. And yet you're still going to obsess over me when you supposedly hate me so much. Like it's one thing if you know you've been searching around the web, having the same problem I'm having when it comes to the truthers. In that, you know, it seems like they're all fucking paid shills. Like, and then you actually saying the things that I'm thinking, then I can understand why you would follow and be attracted to that profile. But from the negative perspective, I just don't get it. It's weird. It's weird. I've never. I don't know. Let's see. I can't think of a time that I was ever outright rejected by someone, and just thought, well, if I just keep trying, you know, things will get better. Like I can think of one time where I liked the girl, and she liked me having a car. And we actually seemingly got along pretty well. Like we had fun. And we hung out for a couple of months, maybe. I don't know how long it was. And then one night we all got drunk and we fooled around. We didn't have sex or anything, but we fooled around. And then the next day I was all like, sweet, you know, we're going to be cool now. And she was being all weird. And I was like, did last night happen just because we were drunk? And she was like, and that hurt. That felt weird. And we didn't hang out as much. And then the final time we hung out, I'm pretty sure me and one of my buddies were buying some opium. And she knew the guy that sold it. And he lived somewhere out here, actually. I wish I could remember where it was. But so we lived in Northville, had to drive to Canton to pick her up, and then drive out here to do the thing. And the dude was this good-looking white guy, and her and the dude went upstairs. And they were up there for a long time, and you could hear some muffled noises. And I should have left, but I didn't want to leave her stranded out there. But that was the last time her and I hung out. I wasn't going to put myself through that. But I just can't, you know, that level of pain, like to watch the person that you like, you think you love, but you don't, because you can't love somebody that doesn't love you back. It doesn't work that way. That becomes infatuation. But to really like somebody and watch them be happy with someone else, that hurts. I don't care who you are. That doesn't feel good. And so, like, for anybody to put themselves through that, when I was a garbage man for, I don't know, like 8 months, just before I moved to California. That was my last job in Michigan, and it was a great job. The company I worked for didn't pay us by the hour; they paid us by the day. So the faster we got our route done, the more money we technically made per hour. I'd be off work by like noon, 1 o'clock. I had to start early as fuck. I had to be there at like 5. But it was good, and the pay was really good for some dumb kid. I think I made like $380 a week back in the 90s. In the 98, 99 time frame.
About rent, car insurance, car payment, all that. That's good fucking money.
That was good money for a kid. And I was in the best shape I'd ever been in because, it wasn't like it is now with the big can that you use the lifter for. We hated those. We had those, and when we'd get to a house that had those, we would be, fuck, because it would take longer, I mean, there'd be times where we would just lift it up ourselves because it would take so much longer. But
And it gets garbage everywhere.
But the other characters associated with that job were some of the most interesting characters I've ever worked with. You have to be a different type of person to get over the stigma of being a garbage man. People will just be stupid about it. You'll make more money than a lot of people, but people are just stupid about it. Oh, you work at Subway? That's cool, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're a garbage man who makes twice as much? Works less? Oh, well, that's terrible. It was interesting. What's good, insidery? But there was this one dude. It was my first day on the job, and I get stuck with Cliff. And Cliff is like one of the most unfortunate black guys you can imagine, because I'm pretty sure Cliff was the black guy with the tiny wiener. He was real short. He was like 5'6", 5'8". He was all right. He was weird, but talking to him, just shooting the shit. Hey, you married, whatever. He'd tell you he was engaged, and when you start delving into it a little bit more, well, he was engaged to a stripper, and he was engaged from his perspective. And he would literally...
He was regime.
Yes. He would literally spend all of his... Like, he would be out of money by the following week. By the following paycheck. Like, struggling to even buy some food. Because he'd give all his money to this stripper. And he was that guy that followed her home one day. And kind of like came out of the shadows like with a ring and some flowers, like, hey, will you marry me? And it was like an $8,000 ring or some shit. And of course she fucking took the ring. But good old Cliffy, man, I could never understand it. Like, what? And I've experienced that.
Right?
Huh?
She married him too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they lived happily ever after.
Is that? It has to be what they think. that I am good enough for her to leave that life and marry me and happily ever after.
I can't imagine what they think.
That has to be.
Because
Why else would you spend that kind of money?
I've experienced that twice in my life, and one time it was really close. It was a buddy of mine named Rajiv, and Rajiv was like given, he lost the genetic sweepstakes. Right? Like he was just given the worst fucking hand you could have. Indian guy whose parents were off the boat. So even as a kid, like I knew him since we were real little. As a kid, he would say words incorrectly because he learned how to speak from his broken English fucking parents. Like it was just funny. He would say, certain words all Indian style, and we'd laugh. But this kid was, he was frail. He was,
bad eyes.
He had bad eyes. Needed the big thick glasses. He would want to play football and shit, but he was just slow, uncoordinated, and he'd get hurt all the time. And as he grew up, he ended up being this carbon copy of his father, who is like, if you were going to draw a caricature of your standard Indian man, that's him.
Well, except for most Indian men, we picture them have hair.
No, not
the black straight hair.
Blacks, but he had the bowl. That's what I picture.
I don't. But
he was bald. He was, fat, like.
That weird fat though, with the tiny butt and the big old belly, like it's an awkward shape fat.
And it's like he's a frail, small human being. So to be fat at the same time, it's like it doesn't look right. His body wasn't
very awkward.
Wasn't made to carry that kind of weight. Like those, there's those big fat guys where they're just huge boned people. He's not one of them.
Oh, his body's not meant to be fat.
And he's smart. He's real book smart. But he also had epilepsy, and so he had to take this medication that would make him even fatter. And he grew up in a household where, like,
very socially awkward.
Right, where there wasn't love and like I remember. So we're walking. We went out to eat one time. We went to the Boneyard, and we're walking into the restaurant, and he's in front of us, and he opens the door and just walks in. And I'm thinking, like, I know this is my wife, but this is a woman, and you're just with other people. So you just open the door and let your, I don't care who you are. If you're walking behind me and I get to the door first, I'm going to hold the door for you.
I do that, and I am a woman.
It's just common courtesy. But he just didn't have that. And he was infatuated with.
It was a couple, wasn't it?
We don't really know. He was always really sketchy about the details. No, I think it was one.
For a while, but she wasn't the only.
There were multiple ones.
Right.
Like he would get him, but there was one in particular that would just call him and be like, "Hey, it's a slow night. Why don't you come hang out with me?" And he would drop what he was doing to go hang out with her, to go pay her to hang out with him.
Just go there and just keep handing her money for nothing.
And he would get nothing out of it. He didn't get any backroom specials or anything like that. The thing is, the strippers know that. They know if they give it to you, you won't keep coming back. So if they just hold out, you'll for some fucked up reason, that's how that works.
Keep promising it. They keep promising.
Yeah, baby, soon enough. Oh yeah. But he one time estimated that he spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars on this girl. Because he was in IT, so he made good money. And his parents were wealthy, so who knows what bills he actually had to pay. But even like at 40, late 30s. This dude would drive like he was still a teenager. And he'd get in accidents and shit. But he'd always, he had to be the first off the line. And, he's just such a stereotype.
He's a tool.
And I used to try to just figure, like, how does this work for you? You know she doesn't like you, right? I don't know, man. You should see the way she looks at me. Yeah. You mean like a professional? Like a professional seductress?
I remember we were outside one day, just he and I. I'd be like, Ange, I know what people say. I know how this usually goes, but I really think that we have something. Like, there is a connection there.
And he had a tiny penis, too. He would sort of let that out all the time, too.
And I'd be like, Rajiv. And I'd look at him all, and be like, you just felt that connection, didn't you? Yeah, it's a skill, dude.
They're the best. That's literally how they keep a roof on their head.
But it's not you. This is what she does.
You see what she looks like, right? You see what you look like, right? And see, that's the hardest part, too, because how do you tell somebody, well, you know what? You're pretty ugly, so you should probably not, you're not going to get a 10. You're not going to even get an 8. Maybe if you got yourself rich enough, you could, but she would be another version of this that wouldn't love you.
Love your wallet.
She would absolutely ruin you. She'd be fucking other dudes. She'd be doing all kinds of
You're not gonna get a devoted lover that way.
No, and you're never gonna get a 10. You're never gonna get some 10 that is a really good person and just loves you for the weird, shitty person you are. Because it's not like he had this sparkling personality.
He was not Casanova.
Although Casanova was a short, fat, ugly man.
Right, but he had the personality.
Right, he had the game.
So he pulled the winner.
There was one time, the last time that I got drunk, actually. It was maybe 10 plus, it had to be. I don't think I was even hurt yet. Right? It had to be before I even got hurt, so it had to be over 10 years ago. He and I went out to the strip club because that's what he wanted to do. And I went on his dime. I refuse. I absolutely refuse to spend any of my money on strippers. If anything, give me your money, I'll put it in my pocket and pretend like I had a great time. Oh yeah, dude, I just had a dance. It was awesome. Yeah, she got me for all my money. Ooh, oh well. But he was like, let's go. So parking was $20.
Yep.
To get in the door was $20 a person.
Uh-huh.
Then we had to buy drinks. I think it was a 2-drink minimum. Each drink was like $15, And I remember the head bouncer guy, we were talking to him for a minute. And he was saying that he was Israeli. And I was like, oh, Krav Maga? And he was like, that was not the dude to fuck with. You could just feel it. There are certain dudes that you just know. You can look at a knife and be like, I bet that'd cut my finger off. That dude was a scary motherfucker.
Bet that dude could cut my finger off.
But
without a knife.
At one point, we're talking to one of the strippers. And, again, I just have no, I just I just talk. The talking to them, they're fascinating to me. Their whole life is just fascinating to me. I can't imagine what that life is like. To wake up in the morning and be like, all right, let's do my day so I can then go take off my clothes and have weirdos try to stick their fingers in my pussy and butt.
Asshole bleached so some dude can stick his face way up in there. Fucking gross. Yes, that's a thing.
But the one girl we were talking to, She was like 4 months pregnant. She was vaping, and I can't remember if but she was fucked up. Clearly, she was fucked up. And we were talking to her. She was the best looking stripper there in my eyes. Like she had and maybe it was the pregnancy glow. Right. Maybe that's what it was. But
and her boobs were all big and inflated.
No, her boobs actually looked weird. She looked like she had, young girl boobs.
Maybe she was a young girl.
Apparently. But it was just such a strange thing. And I remember after like 3-4 drinks, Rajiv actually became kind of cool. It was weird how like he just became kind of normal. Like he could just joke and
he wasn't all awkward.
And it's like,
because he was uncomfortable awkward.
What do you do? Well, dude, maybe you need to get drunk more? The reality is you're that guy and you pull a girl when you're drunk, she's not going to like to sober you. I had that happen to me before.
What?
I'm the poetry guy. I'm this guy. I'm the introspective guy. But when I'm drunk, I'm the fucking man. I definitely think very highly of myself. And I'm just, all insecurities go away. And, there was this one, I actually pulled the waitress from the pool hall that we used to go to. And, that waitress is hit on a gazillion times a day. And she fell for the drunk guy. And then when she met the sober, introspective, let's talk about shit. She was like, this is weird. What happened to the guy with the visor on, all crooked, the furry visor and the blue pants, and what happened to that guy? Oh yeah, he's there. He's just, he's really sloppy. He's kind of dumb. That's the last guy you want to be in a relationship with, right? Like, you don't want that guy. That guy's going to cheat on you. That guy was an asshole. I don't know. So much of who I was a product of how I was raised and by who. And, I was raised with that notion that, you're a man, you got to be banging broads, man. That's what you got to do. You want to be like your hero uncles and grandfather and dad. Don't you want to be like those guys? That's what they did. It always felt weird. Like, when do these notches start adding up to something? Do I get some sort of prize here? VD, yay! You were raised badly. Yup, sure was. I was raised by dumb people who, were raised by dumb people who were raised by dumb people. It's cycles, man. Hopefully you can break the cycle. But good luck. Dysfunction rears its head no matter how hard you try. You just got to learn how to handle it. But that lineal dysfunction is one of those things that I'm just so fascinated with. How do we override that? How do we stop? How do I prevent my kids from following the path that we all followed when I can see them already following it? How did they both not get the Angela wants to get the best grades thing? They both didn't get it? I thought at least one would get it. Nope. And it's not like Angela was raised in this great environment herself. Her shit was chaotic. If anything, she would have had all the excuses in the world to be a fuck up. And everybody would have been like, yeah, well.
The grades was my only way out. That's how I looked at it.
I don't think that's it.
It was.
I think that's
all the time.
I think that's part of it, but I also think a big part of it is how you view yourself and how you want other people to view you. And you want other people to see you as the best. You don't get to be the head cheerleader by just being okay with being, a team member. You have to want to be the best and then want to take on the responsibilities and want, all of the pressure. That's a different type of person. That's not the average person there. And neither one of them got it. Fucking A. Makes you wonder, man. I mean, if I went to school where these kids go to school, I would absolutely have straight A's.
I would have gone twice a week and still gotten straight A's.
Right. The curve, the learning curve is just so much different than what it was back then. The standards are so much different. They're dumb. They're fucking dumb. They don't know shit. And the teachers just pass them through. I mean, again, I've said this time and time again. We live in Redford. The high school here is Redford Union High School. RU High. And, I don't know of any scholars that came out of Redford Union.
The valedictorians from the graduating classes probably would not even get a 3.5 in a more difficult high school.
I can't tell you. I have no idea. I don't know what the lessons plans are and all that shit, but I do know what they put through. And what they put through are people that be talking like that. That don't be knowing what they're doing and that ain't no good and like they're fucking dumb.
So public schools across the board, doesn't matter the demographic or the area, they all have set curriculum that they have to teach the kids.
Theoretically.
That's so they have to teach geometry and they have to use this book and they have to teach it in this way, like this progression. So the fact that you can have Novi High School and RU High School teaching the same core curriculum, passing them both, but the one absolutely cannot do it just is mind-blowing. And it boils down to the teachers, the parents, and the kids. That's it. That's the only variable. If you don't help...
Well, it's the environment. It's the society itself. It's the fact that we live in a society where, the poor people are huddled into these groups. There's much less money funneled into those groups. While there's much more policing and there's a lot of things that are different. And just like and the like with Redford, they're not getting the same curriculum. They're just not. There must be like certain wording or whatever it may be. There's some sort of way that they're doing it that they can say that they're teaching the same things, but they're clearly not.
Well, they are, but they're not guaranteeing that the students are actually. They're not making sure. They're not doing the follow through and making sure that the kids can actually do it.
I
And then when
disagree.
they fail the standardized tests or whatever and get really low scores, they don't do shit about it. But we met a girl. We met a girl at one of the worst high schools that he and I had ever been in. And when I say worst high schools, I'm not just talking about detectors and cops in the halls and graffiti and shit like that. Like we walked into the library, that's where we were meeting.
The library.
And the library had several standalone wooden book racks, and each giant book rack that took up half the room had like 4 books on it. Of those 4 books, they didn't have covers, they had many pages missing, they were written all over, they were tattered and torn, and something you wouldn't even donate, you would just throw away.
But that's where the society part comes in.
So, the computers that they had, and this was like 16 years ago, but the computers that they had available to the students, they're like computer labs, were the old like compact DOS-based cream colored with the tinier screen computers.
But they didn't need
know?
those other computers. They didn't
But-
need any of that other shit because those kids didn't give a fuck.
Out of that whole school, we met one girl, and she was a senior that year. Her mother was a crack addict. Her father had AIDS, I think, and had died. She was one of 5 kids. I think she was the oldest, so it was her job to raise the kids. And in spite of all of those odds, this girl was getting a 4.0. She was getting a full ride scholarship. I can't remember to where. She had a couple options. She busted her ass. She had extracurriculars. She did it all. But that was one student out of thousands that went to that school. It was a huge school. And that's very, very rare. So when you're given that environment and you are not that girl, what chance do you have?
None. But see, again, these are kids who are raised by women who were kids being raised by women who were like, there's no dads. There's
all the houses around the school were burnt up.
Everything's just shit.
Like the only
they're supposed to be shit.
Were the fucking liquor stores.
Yeah, those are the people that are supposed to be shit. Those are the people, like, we have to start changing the way we think about it. And I think a big example of this is the Israel-Palestine conflict. And now you're like, what the fuck? That's a huge jump. But just bear with me here. Israel could have taken out Palestine decades ago. We wouldn't even be talking about it today. It would be this little blip in the history that, you guys know that Israel used to be a different place? Really? What are you talking about? Like, that would be this sort of thing. They could have completely wiped out the Palestinians, again, decades ago. Instead, Israel completely surrounds it, almost like a big open-air prison, right? And I've said this before. If you have a cow farm and you decide one day you want a hamburger, so you go slaughter all your cows, what's going to happen when you want a hamburger in a month, 2 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years? You're not going to have any cows left. So instead of just wiping out the Palestinians and having this useless land that they apparently they want so badly, I mean, it's just nothing when you think about it. They keep the Palestinians alive and in the pen. They don't let them leave. They keep them as destitute as possible so that they can farm them. So they can whatever ritual quotas they have, whatever, however much blood they have to spill every year, they have their little pen to spill the blood in. And I know to a lot of you that sounds weird, and that sounds like, oh, that's just conspiracy. Make it make sense another way. And then look at it. Look at when you're talking about these destitute black neighborhoods that more than likely used to be a Jewish neighborhood, that when the Jews moved out to the suburbs, they still owned all of that, the black neighborhood, and let it go to shit and were never held responsible. The laws about, keeping up the properties and being a good landlord and all that, they didn't apply. And just like Palestine, this little surrounded area, you have these same little pockets of black people all throughout the United States where people disappear all the time and no one talks about it. What if it's a lot darker than you think it is? Let me ask you this. What makes more sense? Does it make more sense that black people they must just not want it enough? They just must not be good enough. There's no societal influence or manipulation whatsoever. It's just how black people are, and Palestinians, and whatever outcast group of people is in whatever place. They're just shittier. Or the group that controls things, that decides how much money goes in and out, that decides the policing, that decides the infrastructure, that all that kind of shit, that they do this on purpose. That things could be better if they wanted them to be better. They just don't. Seriously, if Bezos said, I'm going to give everyone who makes less than $100,000 a year $1 million, he would still be one of the richest men in the world, and he could completely fix our economy. How come there hasn't been a single fucking billionaire, a single one in the history of billionaires that's done something like that? Said, I'm going to give my entire fortune to the people. Everyone that makes less than X amount of money a year can get a check out of this fund. Not a single person has ever done that. Don't you think that's strange? The thing is, this feeds into the true selfishness solution. Because true selfishness is the key to everything. True selfishness is that I want my wife, my children, myself to live the happiest, healthiest, safest lives we can possibly live. And the only way that can happen is if everyone else is living the happiest, healthiest, safest lives they can live. The only way for me to have my selfish needs met is by having everyone else's needs met. Because necessity is the backbone of the majority of crime. Necessity, desperation, shit like that. So if Bezos truly wanted to make himself and his family a much safer environment, again, if he gave everyone that makes under $500,000 $1 million, he would still be one of the richest men in the world. He wouldn't even really notice it. But again, you won't think about it like that. And let's just say, okay, don't put it all on Bezos. Take all of the 100 richest people in the world and have them all contribute to the fund. Do you know how much money Amazon and Bezos would make by giving everyone who makes less than $100,000 a year $1 million? Amazon would just blow. People would be giving that money back to Bezos left and right. It would make him a hero. He would go down in history as one of the greatest men to ever exist. A true philanthropist. And yet, nah, he's going to send Katy Perry to space. All fake as shit. So fake it's completely gone. Nobody talks about it. Because their net worth is based on stock value and not actual income. They would have to sell their companies to do that. Maybe to some degree. But even then, that's why you then take the 100 richest people in the world. Have each one of them donate 1% of their net worth. The world could be a better place much, really easily. It's just not.
We're easier to control keeping the fear and the division in place.
Keeping people check to check.
Yeah. So,
Even people in a higher income bracket than you, people you think have it better, they're living check to check.
Right. Because they just got a bigger house and
bigger house, bigger bills, bigger payments all the way around. And when there's that other part too, though, where so when I have a $500,000 house, and I drive a $60,000 car, my wife drives a $60,000, $80,000 car. I have 2 kids, each of them have their little cars. Everyone has cell phones. We have all these bills coming in. And then you say, hey, I think I figured out a big fucking hole in the narrative we're given. I think I figured out that the earth isn't round. I think I figured out that vaccines are bad. I think I figured out that, whatever. And your fellow, compatriots, your fellow peers at work or whatever, they say, yeah, that guy that shot himself in the head twice after killing his kids and his wife? Yeah, he figured the same thing out too. And you go, wait, what? And they go, yeah, it's probably best to just keep quiet and keep making your, $150,000 a year, barely doing shit at your theoretical physicist job, getting your prestige from being able to tell everybody you're a theoretical physicist. You sit around and theoretically work all day long. Shut the fuck up, get your paycheck, pay your bills. Because again, you have a degree in theoretical physics and you get blacklisted from theoretical physics. Where are you going to take that degree? You're going to go to the mortgage company and be like, hey, I need a $150,000 base job. I have this really prestigious degree in theoretical physics.
I don't give a fuck.
Right. Can you sell shit? I don't know. No. Get the fuck out of here. You have your wife, your life, your family, your house, your kids, your phone. Your kids are all in a bunch of programs and karate and football and all this shit. The fundraisers, part of the PTA. You're so invested in your little illusion that anything that threatens that and says, look, I'll take away the illusion, you're just going to go, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I'll shut up. And then there's those that don't have as much to lose, but they work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. After you spend the day working your ass off, doing some sort of physical labor or some sort of, retail bullshit or service job of any sort, you're going to be exhausted. The last thing you're going to want to do when you get home from work is go fight in the revolution. The last thing you're going to want to do is research what you need to research that's going to tell you that your life is predetermined and this is the best you're going to get. So shut your fucking mouth and do what you're told. You don't want to learn that. You want to believe that it's going to get better. that some random person's going to come and give you $1,000 tip. You're going to get discovered waiting tables by, you know, some Hollywood director. Something's going to happen. There's an American dream, right? Oh. You believe in this American dream bullshit that if you work really, really hard, you can achieve anything. And you can't. You can't. There are limits that are set on you just being who you are, one. But then there's the other limitations. You start speaking out too much. You know, I mean, nowadays they monitor your social media and shit. Well, we saw that you posted something in your social media 10 years ago that we disagree with, so sucks to be you. You can't serve. You can't wait tables here. It's crazy. We live in just a nightmare, and it's just getting worse and worse, and people don't think about it. People don't talk about it. You know, when you look at the amount of jobs that were available to average people even 50 years ago, it's insane. You go back 100 years ago, there were all the telephone operators, there were all the linesmen everywhere, there were the elevator operators, there were grocery store, you know, clerks and baggers and, you know, TV repairman. The TV repairman was a good job for a long time. That shit went out a long time ago. I mean, if you look back at old movie Mr. Mom and shit, the TV repairman was just an everyday thing. People always had the TV repairman there. The American scheme. It's fucking scary, man. It's scary. You see it happening where they're, you know, you go to McDonald's now and you use the kiosk to order. Well, that's a whole bunch of jobs gone. You see the new technology for the robot lawnmowers. You get yourself a crew of robot lawnmowers. That's a whole bunch of people who you don't have to pay anymore, who can work tirelessly. You know, who never need breaks, who never complain about pay. All those jobs are gone. They're doing that everywhere. The grocery store. You go to the grocery store, it's now like 5 lanes are full service, 2 of which are open. The rest are these big ass, like, round do-it-yourself things. They got like 15 self-checkout registers with 2 people working the whole thing. If you're lucky, it's 2 people. And they're just walking back and forth, fixing orders, and they're so stressed out. They hate their job so much you can see it in their person.
Well, they're also charged with making sure that people aren't stealing.
No. There's a lot more. There are more people watching the cameras now than you ever realize. Walmart has a command center, and every single one of those lanes is watching everything you do. So if you were like skip scanning to say, I don't know, save on baby food, they would catch you. Nowadays, you can't do that shit. Don't fuck around with stealing from Walmart. Don't do it. So what's the plan when they don't need us anymore? That's when you need to get scared. I don't fear the depopulation thing just yet. They don't have the people, like they don't have the gourmet chefs. They don't have the robot gourmet chef. They don't have the robot butlers. They don't have the robot chauffeurs just yet. We're almost there with that one. You know, they don't have the robot people working at. See, the thing about being rich, this is the part that nobody ever likes to address. When you're one of those people that are just super duper rich, your life is not like yours and mine. You and I can't imagine what it's like. But when you're rich like that, I go, oh hey Ange, why don't we go to Hawaii this weekend? We'll go stay at that place you like. Maybe we'll hang out for like a week or two. Then we'll jump over. There's the Cannes festival. We want to go to Cannes, so we'll go do that. And then I did want to go check out. I have some shit I want to do in Greece. We'll hop over there for a little bit. I want to get back for Burning Man, so we'll go back to Burning Man. I did. Then we'll go do some skiing in Switzerland for a little while. And you know what? I was really remember that great little place where in Japan where we got that little. Remember that was such a good time. Let's go back there. We'll go check that out. Then we'll go over to Paris for a little while. I want to hang out. I want to go check out the vineyards and shit. Like that's how they live. And to be able to live like that means every place that they're going to has to be ready for them. There has to be people there waiting and ready to roll. The largest yacht in the world is owned by the Saudi Arabian royal family, right? And that thing is, it's got like it takes like 40 some people to run it, and it's you know thousands of dollars in fuel and you know gourmet chef and this thing is always ready to go in case one of the royals decides they want to go on the yacht. But they only use it a handful of times a year. They might rent it out here and there, maybe, but they don't really need to. And if they do, then it's not available to them. But in order to always be ready for them to use, that staff is well paid. The thing has all the food ready and reared and go. You know, because if the royal says, I want to go, and I want to go now, it's not, okay, Your Royal Highness, we need to wait a couple of hours for everything to get stocked and ready. They just got to go. They have from the time that he says he wants to go to the time he gets there for them to be ready to go. So, you know, they need us to be there to operate the hotel that they're going to stay in. They need us to operate the ski lift. They need us to operate the rental company that they're going to get whatever ride they're going to use. They need us to be there to open the door for them and park the car when they decide to go to the restaurant. And then they need everyone in that restaurant to be there to cook for them and serve them. And, you know, they need the massages. They need the nasty. You know, they need the, hey, we want a, you know, little boy for the weekend. They need to have all that shit at their fingertips. And the only way you have all of those things is if you have the society to support that. Because that person that works at the hotel, well, they have a family. And now their family, they're going to have kids. Their kids have to go to a school. So there has to be teachers at that school so they can train to be the next serviceman. And all of those people, well, they have to eat. They're not going to eat gourmet food, so they have to have all the regular food of people that now work at the regular food service. Well, they have families who then have to go here. They need clothes. So that's how you get the society that we live in. It's to support the rich living their lives and doing as they want to do. Without every little piece happening the way it does, like we don't understand just how much goes into that. You take it for granted. But there is a whole line of workers that is in place to make sure that light clicks on when you click it. And the rich don't want to go somewhere where the power isn't working. While you are a grant. Okay. A grant what? Your boy Trump blew Bubba. Yeah, my boy Trump, all right.
Has anybody figured out who this elusive Bubba is?
Well, it's not Bill Clinton.
Nope.
It's not Bill Clinton. And any other denials I'm not going to make. He denies it's Bill Clinton, but he doesn't say anything about Trump was blowing somebody. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's such distraction bullshit, man.
No, the reaction of Ben wasn't blowing anybody, let alone Bill Clinton.
Exactly.
But that's not the reaction.
That's the normal response. Wait, what do you mean? You think he was blowing? Oh, come on. It was just a joke. You just don't understand the context of the, of the conversation. It was between two people, and Bubba in question is not Bill Clinton. Can you enlighten us about anything else that was said in the email? No. It's fucking stupid. Maxwell's horse is named Bubba, sure. Trump wasn't blowing a horse. That's disgusting.
He was. But you would think that that would be...
I've said to you guys for years that I think Trump is gay. I think if you look at his mannerisms, he looks like a guy that's trying to hide that he's extremely flamboyant.
Yeah. Hand gestures and all of it.
Right. He's always doing that, especially when he gets going and it's like he forgets to...
Have you seen him dance?
Well, then you would assume he's not, because gay guys can dance.
No, not the dorky white ones.
You are defending a homosexual and his actions.
You're defending too?
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who I'm defending at this point. And, you know, him being a homosexual doesn't matter to me at all. The only thing that him being a homosexual does is pisses me off because he's so anti-gay. You know, and you see that so consistently, that the loudest anti-gay person is usually the gayest.
That's because he hates himself. He knows what a piece of shit he is.
I don't think he does. I don't think he hates himself at all. I think it's just part of it. I think, you know, one of the biggest divides is the straight gay divide. You're talking about, you know, 40-50% of the population, right? So instead of creating this unified gay straight alliance, people they can consistently play the gay card. That's why Pride Month is in June, just after Passover every year. Because whatever atrocities they commit on Passover are almost immediately covered up by, that dude had a dress on. And people are like, what? Dude in a dress? Never mind genocide. That dude has a dress on. I'm going to go talk to the Pope.
See, I thought it was because summer fashion is so much better.
It is. But no. I mean, you know, nobody's going to say that. I'm sure I'm wrong. Though Pride Month is in June because of this or because of that. It just happens to work out that it's just after Passover. And Passover happens on so many, like on such a wide range that they couldn't have it be in May. It had to be in June just in case there's those late months, or those late Passovers, I mean. But I'll defend homosexuals all day long. I love gay guys. I have no issue with gay whatsoever. As a matter of fact, as a heterosexual male, especially if I'm single, I want there to be more gay guys. Right? Less competition. Like it's so weird to get into this conversation because I've never had even a reasonably intelligent conversation with somebody as to why gay is bad or trans is bad. 100% of the time, they just make stupid, like you ask them, okay, so why is it you personally? What is it that you personally have experienced or like understand, or what is it that makes gay bad to you? Why is it that gay people shouldn't be allowed to be themselves? And you just never get any straight answers. Oh man. Oh, that worked out well. Whew. That's why I pay the Jew writers the big bucks. It's strange, man. It's strange how, like, embarrassingly stupid. I am a lost person. Just go up the street, make a left, go down a little bit, make a right. You should find where you're going.
You get to Albuquerque, make sure you go left.
Is it left or is it right? I made the wrong turn at Albuquerque. I know. I literally made the wrong turn at Albuquerque once. I was leaving California and I was headed towards Virginia. And this is before cell phones, so I didn't have MapQuest. And I'm heading across the 80-90, and there's this point where you get to Albuquerque where you're supposed to make a left, and it'll take you up and then around the panhandle and shit. But I accidentally went right and took the 10 and drove all the way across Texas until I got to, like, I don't remember where, but then I took a jaunt up to the 80-90. But yes, I made a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Spiritually, bro, come on. Paganism, hedonism. No, I repent. And how's that working out for you? You started this conversation by saying you're lost. I mean, don't you have all the answers? Don't you have a book that's supposedly true? How come so many Christians feel lost if it's true? Why are you retracting your comments? Does it ever occur to you that maybe you have that lost feeling because you're following a map that is leading you into being lost? You're like, man, I could have sworn we passed this rock like 67 different times. What the fuck?
Oh, look, kids. Big Ben.
Oh,
look, kids. Big Ben.
Big Ben. Alien space technology took me over 4 years ago. But the map is awesome, though. Okie dokie. Well, I guess you did not want to have a conversation, and I can understand that. But all right, yep, alien technology, gotcha. Good luck with that. If alien technology took you over, dude, you're fucked.
Yeah, you can't combat that.
Sorry.
It's alien.
Nothing I can do or say to make you feel better. Alien technology took you over.
All Greek to me.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Snoice says that's pathetic. It's pathetic. Which part now? Can you be more Pacific, please? You have an ocean of ideas here. Can you be more Pacific? Get it? Do you get it? I'm being funny. Thought I'd add some humor to the channel. So now we're all laughing at how funny it is. Yeah. You didn't have a comment before. Sorry. It didn't show up. Notice how I'm reading the comments? I'm not used to having such a conversation definitively. Or definitely. Such a conversation, definitely. I again, little confused there, buddy. What about Bob? What about Bob? 14 years ago, 1 subscriber. So four years ago of that 10, alien technology took over my body. Now I'm all crazy. What do I do? Sounds like a hit song. Alien technology took over my body. I'm all confused. What do I do? You anti everything except you are pro gay. Talk about that.
Okay.
What part am I supposed to talk about? I'm anti everything, but I am pro gay. I just talked about it. Isn't it weird that instead of just like picking a thing that I'm wrong about and saying, you are wrong about this because of this, you're now speaking in like goofy codes and shit? If you're right, you shouldn't have such a hard time articulating it. Exactly.
You might have to give them the definition.
Yeah, articulating is you saying it. I was just trying to be articulate in my representation, but I didn't mean to be confusing. You're Y-O-U-R wrong about that. Am I wrong about that? What? It's the most harmful community.
The LGBTQ community?
Hmm?
No, the most harmful community are the white racist men.
I'd say the most harmful community is the Israeli community, is the friar community that manipulates the white racist men. But it's similar. How is it the most harmful community? In what way?
They read to our kids and turn them gay.
Tell me one way that you have been harmed by gay people.
They look better in dresses than we do.
So I'm at this bar, right? Called like Peaches or something, and it's only dudes there. And I'm having this great time, right? Like I'm dancing, I'm having this great time. And then all of a sudden, these dudes, like, I'm not even attracted to them. They're not even like the best looking guys in the bar or anything. They come hitting on me. And I was like, hey guys, leave me alone. And they were like, but we really like you. So I go home, right? I suck their dick and they don't even call me back the next day. What the fuck? I hate gay people. Is that what it is? Did you just call me a dummy when you don't even know which your to use? Are you mad that they didn't call you back? Is that what it is? The fuck are you barking at? Oh, nothing? It's nothing, isn't it?
Is there a package here?
No.
Did Timmy fall down the well?
Timmy probably fell down the well. But fuck Timmy. Kid falls down the well all the time. You'd think he'd know better than to be fucking with wells.
Not our kid. We don't have a Timmy.
Seriously. How come every time the anti-gay come here, they end up sounding like knuckle dragging, you know, just as dumb as they get? How come you've never seen somebody with even slightly reasonable arguments come through and tell us why gay is bad. You're nothing. Hey, at least you got the you're right this time. Well, think of it this way. I'm teaching you, at the very least.
You're learning something.
You're, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, learning something because you got the you're right the second time. You've had an entire lifetime, you went to school for however many years you did, parents, friends, family. None of them were able to reach you and tell you that, hey, you're stupid, you're saying the wrong word. But then this nothing character got you to do it in one try. It was literally your next attempt and you got it right. I think that's pretty special. I'm practicing to bring my sins before God, have done now for 2 years more or less, daily in different forms. Yeah. Okay, like, for what? Like, I just don't understand.
Why do you have to tell God your sins? Doesn't he already know what they are?
Doesn't God already have it all worked out?
He doesn't watch your scripted story.
But see, I had it happen, maybe it was yesterday or the day before. The guy that was talking about how God had appeared to him from 5 to 13 or 5 to 17 or whatever, and couldn't understand the arrogance in saying that you're hanging out with God Jesus, he's talking and having a good time, while he's never appeared to Netanyahu and told Netanyahu to stop what he's doing. He's never appeared to Trump and told Trump to stop being such a douchebag. He's never appeared to Bezos and been like, hey, you guys are wrong, give up all your money. Never done anything like that. He put sins as far as sins as far as easy is from the west. In his eyes, I am holy and perfect creature. So then what would you need to confess your sins for?
What are you repenting if you're perfect?
It's so stupid and backwards. You talk about stuff you know nothing about. Gee, I've heard that before. So, yet again,
the Bible better than you do.
Yet again, we have somebody that's come in here and is saying some sort of blanket dumb nonsense, but not actually pointing to which thing I'm getting wrong. And then to elaborate, they'll say, everything you're saying is wrong. Okay. Because it's true. What's true? If it's true, why do you guys have such a hard time explaining it?
Or with somebody saying they don't think it is.
Right, or somebody questioning it. But when somebody questions it, how come you can't just, explain things? I know what I believe to be, the way it is kind of complicated. And there's a lot of moving pieces, but I don't have any problem explaining any of it. Yeah, it may take a minute, but at the very least, I can point you in a few directions that you can look for yourself. He gives me such joy. He is really a wonder. And I want him to be my father, so I choose to spend my time with him. Do you know how crazy you sound? Like, seriously. You think you're hanging out with God now? Maybe you need to talk to somebody. You might need some medication. I'm not real big on medication, but you might need some. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you already said that, Paul. That's the second time in 3 comments that you've said the same thing. He gives me adventures, bro. Supernatural, unholy adventures. And after they, I have to repent.
Unholy. He doesn't give you unholy adventures. That would be the devil.
No crazier than you. What does that even mean? Like, what are you talking about? So stupid. How come this is the best you can do? I refuse to believe that you have a really good argument that you're just sitting on waiting to say it for the right time. I truly believe this is the best you can do. And why is that? Yes, we have another person who is claiming to not only talk to God, but to hang out with him. It's such incredible arrogance. I could not imagine being Christian arrogant. Shut up! Christian arrogance is just unparalleled. You know, it's so weird. Well, I guess it's not unparalleled because it's the exact same thing as Muslim arrogance. And it's almost the same as friar arrogance, but friar arrogance is its own, expert level there. I just think it's shocking how I'm the one that's speaking about new ideas. You're the one that has like an entire history, a book, and a supposed narrative that's been given and all this. You're the one that has the wealth of information to fall back on. And yet you guys never seem to know any of it. You try to carry on multiple conversations at once, and you can't keep up because you're an idiot. What am I not keeping up with? I don't understand. What are you actually saying that matters? What is so complicated in what you're saying that I'm not able to keep up with it? Otherwise, I would grow somehow in my rational thinking, and I would sin unless I repent for the sins, inaction, less than morally perfect choices, and so therefore I bring it before God. Yeah, and how many times does God tell you you're an asshole and that you should do something bad because of it? You should punish yourself. Must be nice when, God always forgives you for all these morally imperfect choices you're making. Isn't it weird how they always act like they do, they're living this life where they're making all these moral choices and all this. What fucking moral choices do you live in? Like, what's happening in your life that you're making these morality choices and shit? Your life's boring. You do the same shit every day just like everybody else does. I always think it's funny how it's like there's a rule book, right? And you believe that you can knowingly break the rules as long as you repent afterward. And you can do it multiple times, and God's still going to be like, yeah, come on into heaven. Yeah, you broke the rules a whole bunch of times knowing you were doing it, but you said you were sorry. Like, why give you a rule book if all you have to do is say you're sorry and it's all good? Doesn't seem like that makes much sense. Seems like if they give you a rule book, you're supposed to follow it. Haran, I'm sure you did. See, you responded to my comment. Ask me a question, then move to the next comment before I can answer. So, you think I'm supposed to ask you something and then just sit here and wait for your dumbass to maybe respond?
John Stewart breaks down who Trump is working for.
Yeah, right. Can't play that. So do you. So do I what? That they supposedly would live lives with moral choices in them. What? Sir, have you tried the Quran? Yeah, I have. I've looked into it. I've talked to many Muslims about it, and it's just as dumb as Christianity is. Almost. It's almost as dumb as Christianity is. Oh, but I do. I have been informally thrown into some sort of war. Oh, I bet you have. Like, seriously. you understand that at the point where you're telling me that you're having conversations with God and hanging out, spending your time with God, you've identified yourself as crazy, right? Like after that point, everything you say is like, okay, buddy, yeah, sure, good job, you put your shoes on. If I want to keep, if I, if want my to keep with conversation, if want my to keep with conversation, yep. Honestly, I couldn't care less what you do. I don't think me talking to multiple people prevents you from answering a question because you seem to be able to answer things that matter no problem. But whenever it comes to some meat and potatoes, like you're going to actually explain something, now you suddenly have an excuse. Isn't that weird how that works? Rank Jewish, Christian, and Muslim. Rank them.
Bad,
They're,
and worse.
they're all three Abrahamic religions.
Oh no, worse.
You have Christians are the dumbest, Muslims are the most devout, and friars are the worst. That's about it. The two slave religions, Christianity and Islam, they're equally stupid. It's just that, again, the Christians have been programmed to think that the Jews are Christian God's chosen people. The Muslims think the Muslims are the best, which makes sense. Like, if you're going to be a part of the group, you should probably be the best group. But somehow, some way, somehow, some way, somewhere, the Christians are they've been tricked into thinking that they're not their own Christian God's chosen people. Like, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. Why are you so hostile towards religion? Answer that, please. Because religion is the control mechanism that keeps everything moving? Because religion is like the neck of the monster? Religion is the ultimate first real, like, control measure, big brother system. Religion is the first big brother. Before there were cameras everywhere, they told you there were theoretical cameras everywhere. God's always watching you. I have a Swedish mind, and so I divide my sentences from other languages. Whatever, dude. I feel like you have some personal beef issue with Christianity.
He does.
I mean, I guess Christianity is just a mechanism.
I mean, that's what his family tried to, brainwash him with.
But not really. Not really. That's the thing.
Bigger issue with Muslim if he was in a Muslim household and that was being pushed on him as a kid.
It wasn't nearly as pushed on me as you would think. Like, I grew up in, I don't ever remember Omi ever saying anything about it. I know Opa didn't. Like, these are, World War II people, concentration camp associated one way or another. They did not believe in any of that shit.
They did not go to church?
No.
Ever?
Not that I know of. No, not that I know of. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't important enough that it was a thing. I know I wasn't baptized. I know Henry married an Italian Catholic girl. And so to be accepted into her shit, he went all born again Catholic because of it. So that's why Henry and Linda were so religious. And that was my only real foray into religion. My dad used to tell me that he believed in God, but not religion. And I don't think Grandma and Papa believed in any of it because of this,
I'm talking about going to church.
No, they never did. That was never a thing. They were real big into, like, That's the white man shit. Look what the white man's done to black people, blah, blah, blah. They experienced that, so they didn't necessarily believe it.
Totally different time they grew up in.
So it wasn't like it was the household per se, but it was the society I grew up in. You know, all the friends, all the family. There was one time, I meant to tell this story the other day. So at my grandmother's house where I spent a lot of my time, there was a family that moved in at one point, the Actons. Stephen Acton was the boy that was maybe a year younger than me. And then his brother, can't remember what the brother's name was. But he had this big, this big fat ass. His mom was this big fat blonde. Like, she looked like your standard, like, you know, really judgmental Karen type Christian, where like she had the haircut, you know, and she was so fat. And she was tall. She was like a big giant woman. And then the dude was a little scrawnier kind of guy. And you know, they made really, really good. He made really great money. I don't know what he did, but at one point they gave me a Bible, and I had that Bible with me for a long time because it was a gift. I more looked at it like it was a gift, and I had it in my car. I think even my mom might have done it, you know, and she was like, "What could it hurt?" And so I think I had it in my car for a while under that "what could it hurt" sort of idea, but it just felt so stupid and wrong to me that eventually I just got rid of it. But I remember they gave me this Bible, and like they would try to sort of push it on me, and I would just reject. Like, it was just silly to me. It was always silly to me.
Yes.
And so one time they took us to Bablo. I got to go with them to Bablo. And Bablo is like a Cedar Point, is like a Six Flags, whatever, but it was a local thing here. Bablo was awesome. You'd take a ferry to Bablo Island. You'd spend the day there, and then you'd take the ferry home, and there'd be fireworks on the way home. Like, Bablo was the shit. But at one point, we're on a roller coaster, and, you know, I'm going, oh shit. And so we're walking to another ride, and this big fucking giant woman comes up to me, and she's like, "I need to talk to you." And she's like coming, like, kind of down. "Michael said you were swearing." Michael was Stephen and Michael, that's what it was. "Michael said you were swearing on the ride." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "You were swearing. You were saying swear words, and that is not acceptable. I do not want to hear anything more of that. If I hear anything else like that," I don't remember what the threat was, but I just remember she was like this big, scary woman. And she's like yelling at me because I swore on the ride. And I seem to remember that being like the last time I even wanted to hang out with them. But they were just, I've never experienced the idea of like these welcoming Christians who accept me for me and are willing to have the conversation about it. Accept me for me, but hey, maybe want me to have their understanding, so they're willing to address any issues or questions I may have. I've literally never had that happen. And so for the majority of my life, the church was my main target. You know, up until somewhere's around 10 years ago, maybe 15, 16, 17 years ago. I'm not really sure when it happened. If you look at the songs, you'll see that I mention The Chosen sooner than I think I did. You know, so like Under the Dome but that's even after, that's after the fact. That's after TBG was started. Somewhere's around that time, I started to notice the Israel connection, the Friar connection. And it was just as time progressed, seeing that, you know, The church is just a fucking small piece of this. I mean, it's a large piece as in the big picture, but once you like funnel things down, it's just a small little part. Like they don't. The church is just a piece. It's definitely not the main control scheme or anything like that. And for years, I talked about the church, and yeah, I had opposition, but I was still allowed to excel. You know, I was still allowed to get numbers, and you know, my feeds were doing well. I January made the declaration that I would no longer be focused on church. I would no longer be focused on chemtrails and vaccines and all of these other things sort of spread thin. I was going to focus on, at the time, it was cutting off Israel, cutting off the 3.8 billion and all the other aid, and using that money to form a proper government-funded pedophile hunter group, because look what so many average regular people can do with no money. Imagine what the government could do if they wanted to. And you literally noticed a change in my feed, in the reception, in my opposition, in my number count. Like immediate. It was immediate. You noticed it as soon as I made that declaration. People like James Napier, the pedophile bitchbeard, suddenly became interested in my page. And talking shit too. And it was a strange thing. It was a strange thing to experience, sort of unprepared for the drastic nature that the response came through. Like you expect the response, but you expect it to be something you have to point out to people, like, holy shit, look, make this connection, this connection, instead of it being this night and day difference.
If the cops got involved?
Personally, I'll put gay lifestyle on top of the pyramid of significance. What? I can't even understand what that's supposed to mean. Christianity is the most targeted religion in the world. We are always attacked from every direction, and that's how I know my religion is the truth. Amen. Really, the religion with the churches on almost every corner, the religion that at any time of day is the only one that you can find multiple channels, 24-hour channels directed towards pushing this one religious belief structure. There's no Muslim channel. There's no Jewish channel. There are multiple Christian channels pushing all sorts of Christian propaganda on us 24 hours a day. Are you talking about the tax-free organization that owns the most land in the world next to the Queen? Is that what you're talking about? The most persecuted religion? You know why you're the most persecuted religion? If you're going to even say that. What's the thing that's most persecuted about Christianity? Is it the fact that your hierarchy continuously rapes children and then does nothing about it? Protects the rapers? Is that what it is? Because there's a why. There's always a why to things that people want to ignore. Why are the friars the most persecuted people in the world? Why does every group think they're the most persecuted people in the world? You know who's the absolute most persecuted people in the world? The atheists. The ones that have zero representation. The ones that are portrayed as being the worst, most dangerous people, yet it's the Christians that are the ones that are constantly doing mass shootings and shit. Personally, I choose not to engage in go right, I've heard of it, blah, blah, blah. Not that being attacked is the way to tell truth, but I mean, if you have a religion that says you'll be attacked and then it happens, it's just proving its own truth. Maybe it says you'll be attacked because it knows what disgusting, horrible practices you are, that you engage in, and they know that there's going to be backfire to what they're doing. There's going to be a response to it, and they know how stupid you are. So they play into that and say, yeah, if anybody tries to point out the fact that we keep raping children, they're the bad guys. They're persecuting us. Where are Christians even being persecuted? I'd love to see it. Ever heard of the tree of life? Blah, blah, blah. Yes. One of a guy never had any dreams growing up. I remember before I started practicing to give my life to Jesus. What do you mean? Practicing to give your life to Jesus? What the fuck? Why do so many different Christians have so many different weird ways of putting it? I'm practicing giving my life to Jesus? Do you have
You were given your own life to live, not to give to him.
why would Jesus want your life?
He wouldn't have created you.
That earlier I used to not engage my soul, spirit, or even my memories. You sound really weird. There's no word for anti-Christian like anti-Semitic. Well, anti-Semitic isn't the right word. You're speaking about anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitic would be if you hated the Palestinians. Anti-Semitism is the thing that we're talking about. Because Semitism is policy or predisposition favorable to Jews. I got AI to supposedly change it because I asked AI what Semitism means, and it gave me like this weird definition, and I said, no, that's not true. It means policy or predisposition favorable to Jews. And it was like, you're absolutely right. I should have said that. And I said, well, you should make that change so you don't make that mistake again. And it said, absolutely, we will update the memory bank. So I bet it won't, though. Islam, do you have a higher power or do you just call it God? No higher. Anybody that talks about a higher power is just a Christian who knows better, right? You've gotten past the idea of the craziness of Christianity and you've seen how disgusting and awful it is. So you don't want to be associated with it, but you still have been brainwashed into believing that the narrative. So you say, I believe in a higher power. I believe in a higher power. Well, you're just saying God. You just don't want to say God because you know what it means. A higher power is the exact same shit we're talking about. It's just Christianity under a different guise. No, I don't believe in any sort of, sky daddy bullshit. Sorry, it's fucking insane to me. I'm a Catholic and believe in Christ and the Father, but not so much the Bible because it's clearly manipulated. So basically what you're saying, and you're not going to like that I'm pointing this out, is that you're an arrogant dick. Right? Because you believe in the teachings of the thing, but you don't like it. Because you're probably a good person. You're probably not some piece of shit. So, the teachings of the Bible are just really awful when you start to think about it and look at it. And so, you being this better person, you go, yeah, I identify as this thing, but I know better. The people that created this thing that I believe in, they say that this is the thing and then I should follow this thing. But I'm like, yeah, I know better than that. I'm not going to do that. Because your arrogance comes through, right? And that's a weird thing, right? Because if it was just confidence, if it was just knowing better, then you'd put the thing down. I'm not a part of this thing anymore because of all this shit. Instead, you say, I'm still this thing, but I don't follow the rules that this thing, says. And that's when it becomes arrogance. You know, why would you believe in the thing if you're not going to be able to believe in the thing wholeheartedly? Why would you identify as the thing if you don't believe in it wholeheartedly? You never seem to complain about the Chinese. Why should I? There's enough people doing that already. You don't need me to do it. Why would you want me to complain about somebody else? Why not let's just focus on what's being talked about and not try to, change the subject and shit. Then what's above us? Who gives a fuck? The only way we ever get the answer to that question is if the Goyim unify and overthrow the friars that control the narrative. It's the same answer to all of the different questions. How do we fix this? How do we fix that? How do we know the truth about this, that, and the other? We only know if the friars unify and overthrow the people who control the narrative. Or if the Goyim unify, sorry. Someone clearly engineered us. Why does that have to be God? What's more likely? That God creates itself. There is no before God. God creates the universe that you also believe in. Because see, you believe the earth is round, don't you? You believe the earth is round and there's the universe and the sun and all that, right? Funny how many Christians believe that. When it's like, what do you not, you must, whoa, another example of you not actually believing what your Bible said, I guess. Exactly. So there's a God to start creation of the universe. So you believe in the universe is what you're saying. You believe the earth is round. Come on, Ernest. I'm trying to wait, but waiting makes for dead air, and dead air is boring. It's always interesting how Christians don't seem to know their Bible. They like to push it. Catholics, Christians, same thing. But they don't seem to know their Bible. No, I was going off what you said. I think Earth pretty flat and we're the center of. Okay, so at least you're following that part because, your Bible clearly says that there's the firmament. That the first thing God does after it turns on the light doesn't make the sun and the moon until day 4. So how do you have 4 days if there's no sun and moon? But the first thing God does after it turns on the light is creates the dome that separates the waters of heaven from the earth down below. So what other logical options are there than a prime created exists? A prime created exists. Well, I mean, how far away do you think we are in 2025 from creating a domed structure that the things inside don't know they're in? Would you say we're 10,000 years away from that? Nah. Probably much sooner than that. 1,000 years? Nah. I'd say within the next 100 years, we'll be able to build some sort of dome that the things inside don't know they're in. So who's to say that's not what we are? The ultimate reality TV show. And when you think about it, that actually makes a shitload more sense than the other 2 options you're given, because you're only given 2 options. You're either to believe that God did it or the Big Bang did it, but both of them are basically the same narrative, and that you're not supposed to ask what came before it. I always feared a simulation from AI. Why? Why do we always go to that route? Why do we instinctually invalidate ourselves? I'm not a simulation. I'm real. You know, I'm a real life thing. You know, I exist. What do I exist in? I don't fucking know. But the idea that we create a dome, that we, you know, that the things inside don't know they're in, and there are cameras everywhere, could even be the birds, could be. There are invisible cameras everywhere, filming everything we do. And that the watchers, the things on the outside, have not, it's not just like channel, it's like a network. It's not like TV. Like if you think about where TV is headed now, TV is dying. People watch the internet. So if their version of the internet is that they can click into, you know, say there's 20,000 different people that are focused. Most of the people are NPC, but some of us are a show. I mean, to me, that makes more sense than a God that needed us to worship it, so it created us. Okay, now worship me. Here's my kid. Kill him. I'm 22, so I'm at a crossroads right now. Let me tell you this. If what you believed in was true, you wouldn't be at a crossroads. The only reason you're at a crossroads is because you know it's not true. And I do hate I hate speculating. I hate doing the TV show thing. To me, that makes the most sense. To me, that answers all of the questions. That answers for why we live in the world we live in. Instead of living in the utopia we should live in, the means and the technology we have, we should be in a utopia. We don't, because conflict is the backbone of entertainment. And I think that there's clear evidence of reset. I don't think to me, it's not even a question. To me, there's no question whatsoever that there was some sort of reset that took place. And what I believe happened is the people that were here beforehand figured it out. And once we figure it out, we're not as interesting to watch anymore, so they have to reset it. And that's happened multiple times. And that's why you have, you know, clear evidence of a previous civilization, multiple previous civilizations that lived here, that were extremely technologically advanced, that built the utopia that we should live in. You know, those old World's Fairs and shit. You see the technology that supposedly existed in the 1900s, early 19s, late 18s, and you're like, what the fuck? Once you start going down that that Tartaria road, it answers the questions. Tartaria answers for a lot of the whys that plague you before you stumble across it. Or maybe even you thought this, you just don't have a base to put it on. But you've always already thought this already. Looking at churches, looking at cathedrals, looking at things and going, we couldn't have built that. What the fuck? But you know better. We are fantastic truth barometers. We know when we're looking at truth, which is why I need to be censored so badly. They can't just let my feed go like it does, because I make sense. You know, I actually change people's minds. And that's the last thing they want. They need more sheep, more people believing that, you know, the devil controls things. And if you believe the devil controls things, you're giving up. You're saying, well, fuck, the control is in the hands of somebody with superpowers and shit. Supernatural being with superpowers. There's nothing we can do about it. The only way we can be the supernatural being with superpowers is with a supernatural being with superpowers of our own. So let's just keep praying that the prayer jar up in heaven fills up to the point where Jesus finally goes, okay, I can come back down now. And then it's 1,000 years of Armageddon. Do you not understand the absolute stupidity you believe in?
Ask your doctor if Calquence is right for you.
It's so fucking insane how stupid they have you. And the reality is, again, I hate theorizing things. I hate doing that, being, speculating. I'd much rather focus on what exists and what we need to do. Because the only way we actually get answers to any of these questions is if we Goyim unite and overthrow the friars that control our narrative. I mean, man, what I wouldn't give to be 22 years old and stumble across someone like me. Because everyone else is, is the same. Everyone else tells you the same shit. They point out what's wrong. They point out all this conspiracy shit. And then they tell you God is the answer. And it's like, well, what stopped you from using that same critical mind on Christianity? Because if you do, it's not going to take you very long before you realize you're being duped. Look up the origins of Christianity, and it's Judaism. Horan Pro. I don't, but hey, right on. We have a Haran representative here who's a pro, who can tell us without a shadow of a doubt why the Haran is truth and the Bible isn't. Or is it going to be like the Haran mentions the Bible? Is that'll be it? Because the Haran does talk about Jesus. If you're paying attention and you're on the outside, you're going to notice that I'm going to get the exact same kind of responses from the Muslim that I do from the Christian. It's identical.
I read the letter as you asked me to, and I am passing on what was offered. But no, Sarah.
But come on, Muslim, tell us why Christianity is false and Islam is the truth. Other than because the Quran says so. The Quran says so.
Can you just tell the court or the prison or whoever you need to inform?
It's fucking silly, man. It's silly. It shouldn't work this way. I shouldn't be able to do this so easily. If I'm up against the truth, then I should falter. Then it should be a difficult fight. If you guys are the truth and I'm wrong, it should just be easy. Because that's how it feels for me. It's easy. It's easy to point out the hypocrisy and the sheer stupidity of it all. It's just stupid. It's awful. It really is just awful shit. Why would you believe in anything that you got to be like, well, take the lumps with the potatoes? Yeah, there are a bunch of things that I don't necessarily agree with, but that's what it says. There's no other options out there that I could possibly agree with wholeheartedly. Why do you have to believe in some silly Abrahamic bullshit? Why do you have to have an Abrahamic control system in your life?
5 other girls have gone missing the same way over the last 6 months.
That this bullshit going on in Dearborn is just disgusting, man. It's disgusting, and it's one of these things where it's like, how does anyone see what they're doing and be like, oh, I want to join that bandwagon? It's not like these white guys are making all this sense and being something to be proud of that you would say out loud to people and be like, yeah, I feel this way. It's disgusting, man. The guy's walking around with a thing of bacon in his hand. Like, what kind of immature stupidity is that? You don't eat stuff that I eat, so, man, there's something wrong with you. Like, what's wrong with you fucking people? You don't make any, like, you don't make your side of things look good by doing shit like that. You look desperate. The one thing Charlie Kirk did well was the prove me wrong thing. Now, granted, the videos that you saw were carefully selected. There were plenty of times where Charlie got skunked, but you just never saw those. But at least he put on the illusion that you know, let's do it. Let's have the conversation. These guys don't do that. None of these guys do that. This guy's name is the Haran Pro, and this is the best he can do. Literally, the other day we had a profile that called itself the Mossad, had been around for 4 or 5 years, I believe, and had like 55 subscribers. So it wasn't like your average troll page, 12 years, 1 subscriber shit. And the arguments they made literally only made them look worse. Based on their presentation, you would assume that they're some sort of experts in the field. The Mossad, that's what you're calling yourself? And you can't say anything good about your people and what you do and why we should continue to accommodate your cult? Anyway, it looks like we're getting to the end here. I get so bored, you know, with this minimal effort on your end, but I understand it. You know, I would be extremely intimidated if I was you as well. You know that you're not going to actually say anything that works. So all you're going to do is make yourself and your belief structure look worse. I get it. Sometimes staying silent's the best thing you can do. Especially when talking to the police. But it's boring. I do have to admit that. As much of a victory as it is. Like, no professional fighter wants to get in the ring with somebody that doesn't fight back. A great example of that is Lennox Lewis, Oliver McCall, the second fight. Right? Oliver McCall got really lucky and was the you know, the beneficiary of a really fucked up judge who was probably paid off in some way or something like that. But there was a rematch, and in the rematch, Lennox was whipping his ass in the first round or two, and McCall ends up having a fucking nervous breakdown. Like, you've never, like, to me, it's actually shocking that you don't see this happen more often, where somebody completely falls apart. But Oliver McCall starts crying, and he won't. Like, he's being all weird, and he won't go to the corner. Look it up. It's the craziest fucking thing. It's like his program stopped working for a minute. And the entire, there's like 2-3 rounds of him being in the ring where he's crying, and he keeps putting his hands down, and he won't fight back, and all this shit. And Lennox is a fucking killer. That's Lennox the Lion Lewis. Like, he is a motherfucker. Lennox didn't take advantage. Lennox saw this wounded animal in front of him, but because of his sense of honor and because of who we are as people, he knows he's in the ring with another killer. McCall is a killer. If given the opportunity on any other night, McCall's going to try to kill this man. And yet he sees that McCall won't fight back and is having this breakdown. And because he's a goyim, because he's a human goyim, he won't just run over there and knock him the fuck out, which he probably easily could have done. And after a couple of rounds, Mills Lane stops the fight, and it becomes this weird thing, this weird footnote in history that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. But it's who we are. Like, it's a great example of who we are. That as especially as a champion, as somebody at the top of their game, you don't sucker punch people. You know, you don't want to fight some average Joe nobody. What fun is that? And you definitely don't want to fight somebody who's not fighting back. And so for me, I can relate to Lennox. I can relate to Mike Tyson. I can relate to John Bones Jones. And that, you know, I'm at this untouchable point where nobody, well, Johnny, everybody thinks they can beat. But Tyson at one point was so scary, nobody wanted to fight him. And I know what that feels like. You can see it here over and over again, where somebody steps in the ring and I turn and flex and say, all right, let's do it. And they go, oh, maybe not.
Sometimes, with the right help, sick people.
And it sucks. As a professional who has honed their skill set to the fucking finest point, my blades are sharp as shit. My guns are all loaded. I'm ready for absolute war. To not have anybody to even, you know, scrimmage against. To be the best in the world and not have any sort of even willing competition. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird fucking feeling, man. It starts putting you into this headspace that you have to do everything you can to keep yourself from going into. You know, because that's when a Buster Douglas comes and knocks your bitch ass out because you thought you didn't need to train and you were out drinking till 3 a.m. and, you know, you didn't even have the proper cornermen in your shit, and you were up against the corrupt system and blah 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 blah. That's when you get caught. And I'm not getting fucking caught. I'm gonna stay sharp as shit. It just makes it difficult because, look, you know, if I'm wrong about any of this shit, it's not like you're getting punched in the face Tyson style. You're actually anonymous on here. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. Nobody can see your dumb face. You can redact your comment and that's that. It's gone. You have the opportunity to come through here and you know, throw your best fucking punch. You have the opportunity to knock out the champ. And if I'm wrong, it should be easy to do. You should be able to pick any number of things that I'm talking about and that I'm wrong about and just rip them apart. And then I end up sitting here scrambling, trying to, well, wait, what about, But that's not how this fucking works, is it? I'll never have a Nick Fuentes, a Dan Blazarian, an Ian Carroll. Never have any of these fucking guys have any sort of discussion with me. Because I believe them all to be fucking, you know, agent provocateurs. I believe all of them are paid opposition. Well paid opposition. Very controlled opposition. Designed to keep us focused, you know, on Zionism. Got to focus on Zionism. Or, if they do say the right thing, you know, we need to focus on friars and end that cult. At the same time, they're telling you, but you got to be a part of this cult instead. Which, that cult is controlled by the friars. That's why you fucking, all your cardinals wear yarmulkes. Why is that? Does anybody ever fucking ask that question? All the cardinals, a lot of the clergy, why do they wear yarmulkes if it's completely different? I mean, at the end of the day, your buddy Jesus was a Jew. There's no conspiracy there. There's no, negative connotation. It's just the truth. That's what the story is. Think about that. You think that's just a quinky dink? Just another one of the quinky dinks that is so prominent in your faith-based bullshit? Like I say, it doesn't matter what it is. Whether it's the Quran, Islam, bitch-ass Muhammad, bitch-ass Jesus, Bible, it doesn't matter what it is. Yahweh, evil, motherfucking asshole Yahweh. Yahweh was a motherfucker. Wait, you like what I'm saying? Plague for you and your people. Yahweh was a motherfucker. Why anybody would choose to worship that piece of shit is just, it is what it is. But I find myself, as always, this weird island. Like, do you think I want to be the island? You don't think I want to be surrounded by a bunch of people who think the same way and not feel lonely, not feel crazy? Of course I don't want to be this island on my own fighting this enormous battle by myself against, every direction. Knowing that they're all the same direction, but they're different directions. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, they're triangulated around me and I'm being assaulted from all sides, but they all have the same fucking puppet masters. And it's difficult. It's a difficult fight. I would love it if there were more people out there that thought we should all work together and live together in harmony and make the world a better place. Wouldn't that be amazing? Or am I just some crazy dickhead? Is that what it is? I'm some crazy dickhead who wants the worst things and all that, right? Some Satan worshiping, blah, blah, because I want everybody to live equally. I don't want invisible borders to mean, you can't be gay, you can't be fucking black, you can't be Palestinian. I think we should be living in a goddamn utopia right now. It's 2025. Supposedly, we've had nuclear-powered submarines since the 50s. Supposedly, we've had airplanes that fly solely by computer input since the 60s. Supposedly, we went to the moon in the 60s. Why are we still, using fossil fuels and supporting genocide and not killing pedos and poking ourselves with poisons? And why are we still doing all that shit? We are probably on our own. It's going to take decades before people figure it out. I don't think so. I think it's a dominoes thing, but I think it's quick. It's once you make that thing, like how long, real quick, Ange, how long do you think it was I was playing the Do You Think He's Chosen game on TV before it dawned on you that, holy shit, this is like everywhere?
Well, I mean, it was pretty quick.
It was pretty quick, right? Once you see it, it's hard to unsee. And so I think if we can just figure out a way, I think it's me. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but with as much as I'm censored and as much interference and all that's there, along with what I happen to do, which is just happen to make amazing music and also do a daily, podcast that's all about the truth. I think if we can just get this going, if we can just get me spotlight, that will quickly lead to the evolution that we're talking about. I'm not saying I've got it all figured out or anything like that. But I think as far as certain pieces go, I'm really good at it. And until I get put in my place by somebody, I'm going to continue to think this way. You know, I don't know why I wouldn't. Matt should be here any minute now.
That's why people call us. We're going to do pair plans, and I'm going to try to get you as much bang for your buck as possible.
That's great.
This one here covers all your prescriptions.
But I really do think it's there's a reason why there's so much resistance. I wouldn't think this way if there wasn't the evidence to back it. And my wife said it yesterday, and it sort of stuck with me. It's like, you know, even though she might disagree with me on the surface, she knows that I'm not going to say it if it's not true. If there's not some, you know, a good amount of evidence to back up what I'm saying. And I think that's a, you know, and that was a hard nut to crack, trust me, because, you know, she's seen me at my worst, so she knows, like, it's harder for her to see me at my best. You know what I mean? Just like if you try to talk to your family about this stuff, and they like, yeah, whatever, poop pants. You know. But I think it doesn't take much, and I think that's why they do what they do. You know, I would just have a feed that was allowed to have the views it should have, and there wouldn't be interference if they knew that it wouldn't be, you know, immediate. Look at the influence that Nick Fuentes have. Look at the influence that Ian Carroll has. He just got his millionth subscriber. And these guys are shills. These guys are, you know, they're still pushing separation. They're still pushing supremacy. Every single one of those guys that I name off tells you to believe in Jesus and that Christianity and the Bible and, you know, all this other bullshit. And you can't tell me that doesn't affect you in some way or another, where you don't go, yeah, but isn't this, you know, isn't Jesus a Jew? Like, what do you mean? Or maybe you don't. I don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out. I just know, I only know, like, without a shadow of a doubt, know what I've experienced. Everything else is hearsay. And I know that starting, like, it was sort of getting to that point a little bit. You could see the throttling sort of start to happen. But the day after Charlie Kirk's Kirking, my feed was, you know, I got 40 people. Or less, I don't know. There were multiple videos after that. I've only had over 1,000 people like 3 times since then. And prior to that, the only time I had less than 1,000 people was when I noticed something was wrong and I would reset it. And I would end up with well over 1,000 people by the end of the day. They have, you know, Craig's been here since for a while at least. If I got to the point where my feed was at, you know, below 15 people watching, I would reset. Because there shouldn't be 15 people watching. We should at least have 15. We should at least have 20 fucking people. What are you talking about, 15 people? And it's literally impossible that the exact same day, everybody that used to come here was just like, fuck it. This guy, the guy who talks about Israel, the guy who's brought up Charlie Kirk many, many times. I'm not gonna I'm not going to talk to him. I don't care what he has to say about the whole Charlie Kirk thing. I don't care about any of this. Nah, forget it.
Everyone's always bashing the cops.
If you were to actually look back at everything that's happened, my feed should be full of people that stumbled across my shit at one point, watched for a little while, thought I made good points, but I'm probably crazy. And then when all of this shit's going on like it is, especially with October 7th, my feed should have flooded with people that were like, holy shit, you called this. Holy shit, you were telling us this was going to happen.
No such thing in a case like this.
But if it works, maybe he helps her less.
Mhm.
Is it like when the principal has the bully apologize for what he did?
It's exactly what it's supposed to be.
But when you look at my feed was doing really, really well. Maybe a year ago. At one point, my video had like 30, one of my videos had like 35,000 views, had over 20,000 a couple times, well over, multiple times over 10,000. That's not how things work. You don't build, and then one day it just doesn't work anymore. All that shit you were building to is gone. How many times have the people that do want to be here had to find me because they weren't shown that I was live. They weren't notified. They just checked. And when they checked, it was okay. Or even then, they checked and it took them to something else and they had to like fight with it to get it to work. How many people have had weird shit happen since they started watching me? Since they started interacting with me, their social media doesn't work as well. They get weird fucking messages. They get, weird phone calls and shit. How many times does that happen? I know people that can say it's happened to them. If Karen was here, she could attest to it. If Algo was here, Algo could attest to it.
And that dream came true for her.
And so much of it is so foreign to you guys that you think I must be lying. If you honestly knew all of the shit that they've done over the years, all the phone calls, all the messages, all the text messages, all the police, all the firemen, all the food, all the cabbies, all the, just all the shit they've done over the years, you wouldn't believe it. You would think we were lying for clout somehow when it's like the opposite. It doesn't do that. It makes you look crazy and people just dismiss it because it's so foreign to them. They can't imagine. Why would I matter to anybody that much to begin with? That's how most people are going to see it. Dude, you don't matter. You're talking to 5 people right now. Why would anybody waste any time on you? Because, 5 people doesn't signify censorship. 5 people signifies failure. It is what it is. I need your help. Like, share, sub. I'm going to do my part. I just need you guys to do yours. Go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg.group.com. Link is in the description along with a bunch of other ones, but it's free. Share it with somebody. The music is the key, man. If we can just get one TBG song played on one radio station one time, that will change the fucking world. And I know that's an arrogant, stupid thing to say, but it will. One play on one radio station will change the world. Because people will want more. When people want more, they'll play more, they'll find me, and it will lead to something. We just need one try, one opportunity. If I'm wrong, that one play will prove it, right? Play our shit one time on the radio, see if anybody digs it. If they do, you'll know. If they don't, you'll know that as well.
A man can't give a gift and then expect it back when things go sour.
Play Putin Work on the radio.
I'm a pretty great gal.
Let's see what happens. If I'm wrong, I quit.
Part is painful. That doesn't make you.
But I don't think anybody's willing to take that risk. So if you happen to know somebody in the fucking business, let's make it happen. We will change the fucking world. Or I'll just get knocked off my high horse. One of the two will happen. So either way, it's worth it. Go check out all the links. Go watch the most important film ever made, Hollywoodism. 100% go read the most important article ever written, the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article, which between that and Hollywoodism explains everything. Just go check it out. There's a list of different links that you can check out that will take you to Wikipedia pages that give you more information about the Vara Agreement, Team Jorge, Act IL, all these different things that are the receipts that aren't mine. It's official stuff. It's what they want you to know, and it paints the picture for you. And then there's also links to the Facebook videos where you should check that out. If I'm not live here, I'm live there. So make sure you check out the Facebook page, like, share, and sub there. Have yourself a great day. And most importantly, as always, you pedophiles, well, you kill yourself.